What's good, people? I hope you are well. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What a weekend. Not so much yesterday, I can't lie. Yesterday was a little bit dead, if I'm honest, as far as the Premier League was concerned, football wise. And I think with Europe, with the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games, it has made the Sunday the day that everyone's looking forward to. Liverpool versus Manchester City, Man United versus Newcastle, Arsenal versus Leeds, Southampton, West Ham. It was like, what is going to actually happen this weekend? Because there's teams that need goals, there's teams that need wins, and there's a little bit of excitement with, of course, the Liverpool Manchester City game that we saw today. So I thought instead of just doing Arsenal's performance, I'll go into some of the other games today as well because it was an exciting weekend. Now, I have only seen the goals and the games of Liverpool City and Arsenal Leeds. So until match of the day, I won't know about Man United or Newcastle, and I won't know about Southampton, West Ham in terms of performance. All I know is goals and results. Okay, so that's all I can comment on. From what I can hear, Man United and Newcastle will probably both walk away thinking fair play, but nothing major happened, unless I'm mistaken. Please let me know in the chat. And as far as Southampton and West Ham are concerned, Southampton will be happy because it's not another loss, and West Ham will be scratching their heads, wondering why they let 3 points slip away yet again under David Moyes. So we go into today's games. Let's talk a little bit, first of all, about the confusion at what was a power cut at Elland Road. I was on the AFTV watch along and there was no sound. So I was asking all the tech guys, what's happening? Someone needs to find this out. I didn't know if there was some form of racial abuse or comment that had happened, which made the referee go over to the managers. I didn't know if there was an incident involving the referees or some of the equipment. I didn't know what was happening. Then we're told that there's a power cut and there may be a suspension. We're thinking, you're joking. We can't postpone another game. We've already got to try and fit an Everton game in, a Manchester City game in, a PSV game's been moved because of postponement. We can't here have another Arsenal Leeds game to try and fit in as well with this busy schedule this season. So all of us were a bit scratching our heads, wondering what was going on. Now, from what I've been told by Robbie and by Lee Judges and some of the others that went there today, was in the stadium, not only was there no signal to find out what was going on, but none of the stewards were telling them. So they were just sat there for like 25 minutes going, do we go get another beer? Do we have to go back? Is this game going to be postponed? And I just think that with technology, how poor is that? That we literally cannot go into a stadium now and get any 5G or Wi-Fi. We're in 2022. Technology is fantastic. The stadiums have got to try and look at how they can get that many people connected to the internet on the Wi-Fi situation. I don't know why it hasn't happened now up until this day, but it needs to, because stuff like that really is helpful. The other thing that's annoying is you can never work out what the other scores are when you're there anyway, and you can never text anyone or put a social media out or anything because it's just mad, the connection. So there needs to be some form, and I'm not a tech guy. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if Wi-Fi would allow that. I don't know if there's just too many people in the stadium that wouldn't allow that. And maybe we're 5-10 years away before something allows that to happen tech-wise for that to move forward. But for me, there was a need for it, man. I can't lie. Absolutely crazy. But the game restarts, albeit probably half the hour to 45 minutes late. Most of the other games are coming on to half time by the time we're starting to kick off. And kick off we did. And I've got to say, even the first 5 minutes of when we were told that we had to stop, Leeds were on top. And I thought for the majority of the first part of that first half, we really struggled to contain the ball. We were really struggling to contain the ball. Like it was getting to a stage where every time we had the ball, we were giving it away. And it looked really sloppy in parts. Defensively, individually, we were terrible, but also defensively, I thought at times we were poor, particularly with the ball. And then midfield, Partey, Erdegaard, none of us can really keep it. Martinelli, Jesus, all of us losing the ball. Now, some of that was down to Leeds, if I'm honest with you. I think the intensity shown by Jesse March has been really impressive. That's something that Marcelo Bielsa, attacking-wise, was so good at. But maybe off the ball, I questioned it. With Jesse Marsh, I think they've got a hard-working, intensity team that has that tenacity that perhaps Martinelli and Saka have had in the Arsenal team. And that showed for me with the likes of their midfield in Roca, Tyler Adams, Jack Harrison, Aronson, what's his name in midfield that I've forgotten? There's another guy in midfield that I've completely forgotten. Sinistero, that's his name. So there was a lot of that. And I felt that that really affected us throughout most of the game. And I particularly thought in the first half, Leeds were on top with that. Then we had a little bit of a spell, probably about 10, 15 minutes, where I thought that we looked quite dangerous. And the space that Arsenal were finding were down those wide areas. Saka and Martinelli particularly getting quite a lot of space. And I felt that Erdegaard had glimpses of positive play moving forward. Some creativity, some good passing, and some link-up play with Saka. So when you look at that, they probably exploited the weaknesses of Leeds down that right-hand side. And that, of course, is where the first goal comes. Leeds had a couple of chances before that, to be fair, where Ramsdale makes an outstanding save, who, for me, was our man of the match. And from that, we have a nice bit of play. Rodrigo, who actually got subbed for Bamford, which we'll come on to later, plays an absolute suicidal ball over the other side, switches the play, gets it wrong, and it's between Saka and I think it's Struijk. They both go up for it. Saka wins that header and it falls to Erdegaard. Now, in that position, there's still a lot for Arsenal to do. There's a lot for Erdegaard to do. He's got Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka as options, but he chooses Bukayo Saka. Now, when he plays that ball through, I actually feel like it looks like it's way too far in front of him and way too wide. And that's why Bukayo Saka deserves so much credit when it comes to scoring this goal, because the angle is unbelievable. The finish is superb. It's with his right foot. The last time he had a right foot shot, by the way, he hit somebody on the Norwegian balcony. Yeah? So the confidence that he had and the erasure of his memory of the last time he gets in that position, this is why I love this kid, man. 21 years old, and he's got the ability to do that. The way he hits that, by the way, he doesn't just tap that in. He doesn't try and get as much as he can, but he can't quite hit it cleanly. He absolutely rockets it in with his weaker foot, and he gives Meslier no chance in goal. And then when you go 1-0 up, you're thinking, do we deserve that? Were we that good? Did we look this great? Our Leeds a bit unlucky. But actually, fair play, because we created that chance, albeit given to us by Erdegaard's bit of play. Yes, it was out a little bit too wide for my liking, but actually Saka has done an amazing job there, getting that into the top corner. He drills that. So we go 1-0 up. And then it's about trying to get to kind of half time, thinking, should we really be struggling this much against the Leeds side that, let's be honest, before a ball's kicked, a lot of people are saying are going down this season. Now, let me tell you something. If they play like that with that intensity and with that tenacity, they ain't going nowhere. They're staying in the Premier League. And I think Jesse Marsh deserves a little bit of credit, if I'm honest. He's gone into Leeds. He's lost Calvin Phillips. Rafinha's gone to Barcelona, two of their best players. And now what they've done is, instead of just swapping Calvin Phillips for a holding midfielder and Rafinha for a winger, he's actually brought in together a triangle in midfield and tried something different. There's only really Bamford or Rodrigo and Harrison that he's kept in there. He's brought in Tyler Adams, he's brought in Roker, he's brought in Aronson. Fair play to him, man. And Sinistera as well, by the way, who was, for me, one of Leeds' main threats. He looked really, really good. So big up Leeds, man. They deserve a hell of a lot of credit today. The other thing I want to mention is when we got to half time, the feeling around the stadium where we were in the studio wasn't comfortable. And I really did predict a comfortable win today. I did. I think I went for 3-0. And the reason I predicted 3-0 was because I honestly believed that we were going to play in a similar way that we did against Liverpool and Spurs. It was going to be free-flowing. And I felt that if we started well with an advantage of an early goal, it would open up for us and the game would be Leeds leaking goals and us winning to a 3-0. That's why I went for it. And boy, was I wrong. It was a great performance from Leeds, and they deserve credit. They do deserve credit. They've been fantastic from what I've seen little of this season. They did a great thing performance-wise against Chelsea. And today, I think they'll be extremely unfortunate walking off that field, wondering how they didn't at least pick a point up, and maybe some would say even 3. So we go 1-0 up. Second half begins. He makes one change, Jesse Marsh. Bamford comes on, Rodrigo comes off, and wow, what a difference. Bamford caused problems. He was a nuisance. He was great with link-up play. He looked to be having a little bit of everything that an all-round number 9 would want, or that in Arsenal's case, or defence certainly, would not want to play against. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was really a real handful. And I think that everything that he did kind of either created a chance or looked a threat towards goal. And I don't know what was said at half time, but we did not come out well. We did not come out good at all. And I hope they got a rollick in at full time. I know Arteta was happy. I understand his press conference. He was really jumping for joy. I get it. We won the game. It was a great performance in terms of a great result. But in terms of this performance, oh, there was parts of it I was a little bit concerned about. So let's talk a little bit about some of the chances and then we'll go back to the performances individually and as a team because there were a couple of positives for me today. Not only did we win 3-0, but in terms of the individual performances, I can't look at many and say they were outstanding, but I can certainly look at one or two. But let's look at the instances because straight away, only 30 to 40 seconds in, Patrick Bamford has scored a goal. Now, I have to be honest with you guys and hold my hands up. And if there's any Leeds fans watching, because I know that some of you do, I'm going to stick up for you here. I honestly thought that goal should have stood. I thought there was a lot that the referee and the officials had to do today. And I actually think they got most of the decisions correct after VAR was checked. But this one I thought was wrong. I really don't feel that Gabriel was fouled to that extent to disallow that goal. I have to say that. You know, I can't sit here and be biased towards Arsenal in this case. I can make a case for the others. But for this one, I'm struggling. I'm struggling because Gabriel jumps and the way that he makes the most out of that is basically a little touch on the back and he's gone flinging like this. Now, I understand that and it's fine by me that players do that because it's just a modern game. But I'm not so sure when you look at that again that Bamford's done a lot wrong there, to be honest. And he finishes it and I'm thinking it's 1-1. VAR goes and checks it and realises, yeah, I'm happy to give a foul against Gabriel. I'm chalking off the goal. Bamford goes nuts. He's going to hit my chest because at one stage it looked like he might have handballed it. I never thought that was the case. I knew that it was the foul that they were looking at, but I was so surprised because I just didn't think that was a foul. I really didn't. And if that was given against Arsenal, everybody in the chat, everybody in the stadium, everybody on this podcast would have been in uproar saying, how? Please explain to me how the hell we have not scored or equalised. So I have to be fair. Now we come on to the other incidents. The penalty, handball for me. I think they got it right. I don't think Saliba had the best of games actually today. I really don't. I feel like his passing was a little off. He had that real awful back pass that went wrong and gave the ball away and Ramsdale got us out of jail. And I actually think the handball is extremely avoidable from Saliba. I really do. I feel like the way that the ball was coming to him, he can get his chest out as opposed to his arms up either way. I think he's definitely, for me anyway, that was avoidable. But he's got the right decision. The penalty's given, and it's Patrick Bamford, who's already scored, by the way, and had one chalked off and has been a nuisance. And I definitely thought he was going to bury this. And he puts it wide. Now, it was a little bit... When it goes wide, it's never a good penalty, right? But I've seen him ballooned over the bar. I've seen him hit miles wide. I've seen him hit posts. This was like a whisker away from the post, right? So it was a proper close one. But it's wide. Sigh relief. We think, we got away with that one. And we go again. Thinking, let's go and get another goal. We can't keep hold of the ball, guys. We cannot keep hold of the football. We're giving it away. Partey, really calm. Then it gives away a ball. Erdegaard gives away a bad pass. Vieira, bad pass. Eddie, Saka, Martinelli, take your pick. Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Saliba. None of them can keep hold of this football. So it was a real disappointing second half performance from a few individuals that I just thought as a collective, really, we were really poor on the ball. Now, Leeds deserve credit, and I've given them credit for that. But when I look at it, guys, this was not good from Arsenal in terms of trying to retain possession against a team that, let's be honest, a lot of people tip for relegation. Now, I'm going to give them a lot of credit because I thought they showed fight. But Arsenal needed to get over that at some point in that second half. Change things up, not with players, just mentally. Understand, boys, why cannot we keep this ball? We need to. Let's take it going. We're the ones that are 1-0 up. We're not chasing the game. We're not trying to get a goal. We need to keep the football for now. And we could not keep possession. Really impressive from Leeds. Every ball we were second to, they were first to. They were on us when we got the football. And they're winning it back. And we needed to try and keep them settled because it was a real nervy ending. And then what happens? We go 1-0 up. and we have the Bamford foul, we have the Bamford miss. Then what happens? It all goes wrong at the end. It all goes wrong at the end because of an incident between Gabriel and Patrick Bamford. Now, I personally believe that after VAR checked this, they got it right. They got it right because Bamford fouls Gabriel. End of. He fouls him. Whether it's soft, whether it's not, it's a foul. Okay? He's barged him. He's gone down. That's it. But the referee doesn't see that. What he sees actually is nothing. When you look at what the linesman saw, it was Gabriel kick out. Now, I've seen this again a few times. Nobody can tell me Gabriel doesn't kick him. He does. He doesn't go like that. He doesn't even go like this. He does that. Now he lashes it out. Now it's not a lash like I'm going to have you. It's not a malicious one. It's like you've pushed me, mate. My leg's coming up, and if it touches you, then so what? That's what he's got to cut out because he could have cost us today. Now he's had some bad mistakes this season. He's been shaky at times, but I've stuck up for Gabriel. I like him a lot. Yeah, I really do. And thanks for the super chat here, hit 44. I have to agree. Gabriel was levels above Saliba today. Yeah, I thought Gabriel was brilliant today. But that last incident could have cost us massively. And not a lot of people would have been giving him a lot of credit if that was the case. So he gives a red card. He gives a red card. He gives a penalty. And it's not game over, but we've dropped points. We've dropped points. Now, Gabriel and Granit Xhaka, and this is why I'm going to big up Granit Xhaka. He shows leadership qualities by trying to calm things down. He goes over to the referee. Now, this is Granit Xhaka, by the way. He's got an unbelievably poor discipline record for Arsenal. But this is where his mentality's gone to and his leadership's gone to, in my opinion, this season. Off the pitch stuff, I think he's always been good in the dressing room from what people tell me. But this is where it really proved it for me. They give the penalty, they give the red card. The linesman's made his decision for the referee. The referee then goes over to the monitor and he's looking at it a few times. He's talking in his mic. He's not quite sure what's happening. Then he gets the decision right. What happens next for me is massive. Granit Xhaka goes up to Gabriel, and I've not read this, but you can pretty much see him pointing and going, you could have cost us that. Wind your neck in. Get your head in the game. And let's get past these last few minutes, which was 6 minutes added, by the way, because of all this nonsense. And you make sure we don't lose this game now. And this is where it needs to stop with Gabriel now for me. I absolutely love him defensively. I think he's flawless when it comes to defending. When it comes to errors, wow, it's not looking good. You can think of him against a couple of teams last season where he had a couple of errors. The season before that, I think it was Man United at Old Trafford, where we beat them 1-0. He was very lucky to stay on the pitch there. Manchester City last season, silly mistake, red card, cost us the game. Granit Xhaka, likewise, penalty given away. Ill discipline, Gabriel's been a part of it for a while, and he needs to cut that out now for me. He needs to iron out these mistakes. Because when you make the same mistakes, people start to remember the likes of Mustafi, Stefanovs, Skilacci. He's not in the same league as them. He's miles ahead of them, right? But people will remember his mistakes like they did them, because they used to make them every single week. And I hear this a lot. I hear this a lot from Silvio. He has the bozo gene. Perhaps he has, but let's get it out of him. Let's hope that it is not a gene. Let's hope he gets it out of him, because I believe he can iron some of that out. He needs someone to talk to him. The manager's got to talk to him now. He has to. The captain in the dressing room needs to as well. We need to stop these mistakes. Now, it hasn't cost us today. And do you know what? It wouldn't have anyway, because it was a foul. But who's to say next week or the week after that, something's not going to happen again? For me, Gabriel has to look at himself here, and he honestly does need to start stepping up to the mark and saying, I'm playing well, but my God, I need to get these mistakes out of me. Because again, like people have said in the chat, he was probably our best defender today. Saliba was poor. Tomiyasu was really poor, by the way, out of character. And Ben White ended up getting subbed off because he was pretty much ineffective. So it weren't great from the back four. But actually, when you look at what Gabriel did, probably apart from Ramsdale, who's my man of the match, he was up there with being a very good performer. But you can't give somebody credit when he's going to do that at the end, because it can throw the game away. So that's where people will remember it. Anyway, we breathe a sigh of relief because the referee goes to VAR and he overturns it. And like I say, Granit Xhaka deserves a lot of credit there. And I love the fact that he was in his face telling him to shut up and telling him to keep his cool and wind his neck in. That's what I want to see from my leader on the pitch. And people are saying he's a captain, he's a leader. That showed it there for me. I thought he was fantastic there. Really, really impressed with what I saw from Xhaka in that moment. So there's a lot to go over. The officiating, for me, the goal that, the penalty incident that Bamford took and missed, they were offside in the build-up play. But he'd already given the penalty. So this is where I have a question with officiating. I thought they got two things wrong. That one, they were offside. It was in the same phase of play. It was the build-up to the penalty. It should have been called offside, but it was played on. So it shouldn't have been a penalty awarded. But they ignored that, gave the penalty, and he missed it. People would say justice. But really, I can't sit there and say that they got the one right about Bamford scoring a goal that I thought looked fair. I think Gabriel, if you're saying that's a foul, then the game's gone soft for me. I really think so. So in terms of the officiating, some of it, I thought was a bit bad. Some of it I thought was spot on, and I think VAR worked. And certainly if you're talking about power cuts before the game, thank God for VAR because it saved us today. We'd have lost that game probably. We would have gone down to 10 men. They'd have got 2 penalties. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. So, yeah, it's an interesting one for me. Some people think, like Roscoe, that, it was a foul for the Bamford goal. I thought it was pretty soft. If I'm honest with you, I stand by it. I thought it was pretty soft. But if it's a soft foul, then it's a foul. But I'd be pretty peeved if that was Arsenal. I'd be like, come on, is that a foul? Really? Like, fair play. If people think it is, but I'm not so sure, man. I thought that was a little bit harsh, personally. But when I come into the rest of the game, as a performance, pretty poor second half. Individually, brilliant from Saka. Unbelievable goal. Brilliant from Ramsdale. I actually do think, other than Alisson and Edison, we've got ourselves an all-round modern-day goalkeeper here that's good at crosses, that has command of area, that has communication with his defence, that have reflex saves, that has unbelievable kicking and distribution. I don't really see a weak part of his game. I love his mentality. I love most of what we're seeing from the lad. I just really like Aaron Ramsdale. I've met his family. His mum and dad are absolutely amazing people. So supportive. Just typical away fans. Come to games, support their son, and sit and have a drink with all of the Arsenal fans. Brilliant people, man. And I love everything about Aaron Ramsdale. For me, he was man of the match today. I thought some of the saves were just the reason that we took 3 points. Unbelievably good. Then we come to our other player, who, apart from Saka, deserves credit. Granit Xhaka, yet again. This guy here that I keep getting out showing everybody, right? I keep getting this guy out and I'm loving it. Ever since I got this bloody figure, which was a mistake to get anywhere in the first place, because it weren't for me, he's been fantastic. I absolutely love what I'm seeing from Granit Xhaka in this new position. I absolutely love what I'm seeing from Granit Xhaka's mentality, and I love what I'm seeing from his leadership skills. He has been fantastic. And people will say, the Granit Xhaka fans, oh, but he's always been like that. But he hasn't, though, has he? Because for 6 years, he was bad discipline. He wasn't great leadership. It was errors leading to goals. It was passes going astray. It was bad attitudes, walking off pitches, throwing T-shirts on the floor, throwing the armband down, telling everyone to F off. For me, man, listen, Granit Xhaka has been superb. Absolutely superb. And I can't sit there and say much more praise than that, because this is a guy that I had no time for. This is a guy I had no time for. Tobes is in the chat. Big up, Tobes. Hope you're well, man. I hope you're not crying too hard, man, about Arsenal at the moment. I know you're suffering. I know it's hard for you with all the Arsenal fans that you hate online that try and troll you. But keep your head up, man. I'm sure things aren't too bad. Tottenham are winning, man. So be smiling. Be smiling. Listen, that was it for me for positives. I thought there were some poor performances out there today. Poor performances. I thought personally, the guard stunk the house out most of the game. Good assist. That was it. I thought Jesus was not fit. Lots of rumours that he weren't about, and there was potential concussion from last weekend. Not good enough for me. Definitely weren't on his game. I thought Martinelli showed glimpses, but was running into trouble quite a bit and looked a little bit rash. I thought Thomas Partey, albeit calmed things down when he did have the ball, was giving it away at times. And I think at the back, that's probably one of the worst defensive displays I've seen in a long time. It's the worst game I've seen Saliba play in an Arsenal shirt. The handball, passing it back, getting caught out. Ben White having to come off. He wasn't really that great. Tomiyasu was poor, really poor for me. And Gabriel, who actually was one of our better ones, ends up getting the bozo gene at the end and start potentially throwing the game away. So it wasn't a performance to remember. It wasn't a second half to be proud of. Mikel Arteta's going mental, but really, I'd rather be going mental in the dressing room for that second half performance because we got lucky, guys. I don't care what anybody says. In this game, we got lucky. And sometimes you have to. You have to get lucky like that sometimes. I get it. I understand it. But for me, I think personally, we saw a Leeds team that deserve a little bit of credit. And we saw an Arsenal team that, for me, looked already like they were a little bit exhausted in parts of the game. And that's my worry. And that's my concern. Because it's clear for me to see from Thursday and from today that we still have two very important transfer windows coming up. Because we've spent, nearly 400 million, and we still need to improve. We've got such a drop-off, guys. It's unbelievable what I'm seeing from the drop-off when Eddie comes on for Jesus. Albeit today, Jesus weren't that great, but Eddie comes on, you don't really see an upgrade in that position. When Vieira comes on, is that an upgrade of a position? No. Is Lokonga an upgrade? No. Is Marquinhos, if he comes on, an upgrade? No. So Kieran Tierney is the only one we're bringing on as a potential upgrade at left-back. So there's a worry there for me. I know Zinchenko and Smith Rowe are out. I get that, and they would definitely give us more cover. El Neni, likewise, I think is better than Lokonga and proved that last season. But really, we're still short on that bench, man. Massively short. So when you look at the team that played on Thursday night, you're scratching your head thinking, we need more players. Then you're looking at this weekend on the subs bench thinking, who can come on and win this game for us? There ain't really anyone. So there's still, for me, this process, project, whatever people want to now call it, we're still two transfer windows away, at least, from having a squad that can compete for a title, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at. Guys, I'm going to take some of your comments and some of your super chats. Hit 44, thank you very much, bro. Says, do we trust Eddie to maybe start Southampton? Gabriel Jesus maybe fighting a knock. Didn't look himself at all. Worst attacker today for us. Yeah, I agree with your last part. I thought he was the worst attacker for us. I thought he was really poor. Really, really poor. And I thought that Eddie come on and showed a little bit of intensity, a little bit of running, a little bit of energy, but really was not really much better. I thought Gabriel Jesus was running into players, losing the ball. It just didn't look himself today. Wouldn't surprise me if Eddie Nketiah plays on Thursday and he gets another week break. It doesn't look like it's anything physical for Gabriel Jesus. It may just be that he needs a little bit more time off and weren't quite ready for that. They were saying he was fighting a doubt for the game. So I'm hoping he's going to be back for Southampton if Eddie does play. But thanks for the super chat, bro. I much appreciate it. Taib says, hi, Dan. Do you think that Arsenal will crack under the pressure or can they maintain this push for the title? I'm not thinking about titles yet because in October we shouldn't be thinking about titles. But Taib, I will say this. If we get to the World Cup and Arsenal are top of the table, by the time we come back, that's when we can start on that run of games to talk about where Arsenal are. Because when you're coming towards the new year, people start to say, oh, who's top at Christmas? Who's top at New Year? Who's going into February top of the table? That's when we can start to realise where Arsenal are at. Now, I believe, because our squad's quite thin, that around that time, we'll be in and around the top four places and probably be in and around the top one or two places. But I think it will be closer than people are expecting. I don't think Arsenal are going to be, wow, Arsenal are title contenders, but the others aren't. I think Tottenham will keep winning the way that they're winning. I think Manchester City, albeit today they lost, will keep winning. And I think Arsenal likewise will. And I think we'll see those three. And probably Chelsea, Liverpool starting to win games now may start to catch up a bit. I don't think this is anywhere near done yet. I still stand by it. I think Man City will win the league. But at the moment, Arsenal are looking good for it. This one has come in from Allegri. It says, Dan, what's your 11 for PSV? I would try to make changes. We have to win this game, but I feel like there's players at the moment that do need a little bit of a break. And we played a few of them on Thursday as well. So Turner will be in goal. I think it will probably be at right back, either Cedric or Tomiyasu. depending on who come back well out of Ben White and Tommy Asu this game. I think left back will be Tierney. Centre backs, I think, will be Rob Holding and Gabriel, because he seems to want to play Gabriel at this left centre back position. He doesn't seem to have anybody else there. Granit Xhaka will play left centre midfield because we have no other, in my opinion. I think Vieira will play instead of Erdegaard, and it will be Lokonga at the base at number 6. Then the front three, for me, I think, will be Marquinhos, Eddie Nketiah, and I think he'll probably play Gabriel Martinelli, because Nelson was absolutely shocking, in my opinion, the other night, and actually worsened the game of Fabio Vieira for me. So that's why I'd go with them, man. But listen, put all of your big guns on the bench, because if we need them, PSV have beaten Zurich 5-0 twice in a row, and they're definitely the biggest threats in this group, and probably the biggest team in this group that we're going to face. So definitely have your big guns on the bench. And if we have to bring on Partey, Jesus, if Saka has to come on, so be it. Yeah, so be it. Use all 5 of them if you have to. Bring them on. Just have them on the bench. That's what I'd be doing for that, 100%. Talking a little bit about Liverpool and Man City before we wrap up. I watched the majority of the game and saw the highlights. De Bruyne and Haaland had a chance where he's literally crossed an unbelievably delicious ball onto the head of Haaland and Alisson. Unfortunately for Haaland, it goes straight into his hands. Then Liverpool have a couple of chances. Salah goes through. It's an unbelievably good save from Ederson, but he should do better and he should score. There's another piece of play from Salah, which is unbelievably beautiful cross with his left foot outside of it, crosses into Jota's head, and he actually hits the side post, and I think it might have even hit the side netting. It was so close. But then Salah, with an unbelievable bit of magic, a wonderful goalkeeper kick from Alisson, and a beautiful touch around Cancelo. He's through 1-on-1 and he slots it home, and Liverpool winning 1-0. And the refereeing decisions, by the way, in that game were mad. I mean, there was one on Salah which Klopp ended up getting sent off for, which wrestled him to the ground and in front of the linesman, and he's done nothing at all. Madness decision. Klopp gets himself sent off. Manchester City are throwing all they can, but Liverpool hold off, win 1-0. A game they had to win, by the way. Yeah, because they're still 14 points off of us. Imagine if they went 17 points off of us. They would have lost that. So for me, Salah goes through, played well, good goal. Manchester City finally lose. There's nobody unbeaten this season. Invincible's day has gone. And Arsenal are top of the league by 4 clear points. You would not believe it. In the date of October, in the month of October, if you would have said to me at the start of this season, 10 games in, Arsenal are going to be top and they're going to be 4 points clear of Manchester City, I would have said you're absolutely buzzing. It just proves how far we've come. It proves what's happened with the lift of the new players, the pre-season that we had, which was great. Arteta deserves a hell of a lot of credit. Somebody who's been fairly critical, I would say, about the process, the manager, the ownership. It looks like it's coming together. And 3 years in, it's frustrating because we've had to wait 3 years. We can't wait no longer now. This needs to go bang. And I'm hoping that something can start to improve, because at the moment, although it's early days, it is looking so good. And I think it would take a real crumbling mess this season for us not to finish in the top 4, which, let's be honest, was everybody's target at the start of the season. Now, our target is always to try and finish as close to the title as we can. I'm not unrealistic enough to expect or naive enough to think that Arsenal are good enough to win the title. But listen, I would be 100% happy with fighting as close as you can to Manchester City this season, because that is something I did not see happening. Arnie, big up yourself. Hope you're well. Dan, you wanted Conte. Yeah, I did. And look at what he's doing at Tottenham. Not even playing well and they're still winning games. This guy is just mad. Like, how has he done that with that back line, by the way? Like, they are a great side going forward in terms of Kane, Son, Richarlison, Kulusevski. But the rest of their team, it ain't that great. And he's getting the best out of them, man. And if they have to win ugly to win something, then Tottenham fans will be happy, man. Conte is a manager that is in the elite bracket, and I stand by that, along with Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola, Klopp, Simeone. All these managers are elite winners, ones that I thought we should have been looking around when we were sacking Arsene Wenger. And I would have gone for one of those. But at the moment, Mikel Arteta is doing bits, and we have to get behind him and be convinced that we're starting to see progress, because at the moment, things are looking rosy. Guys, we're going to leave it there. I want to say a huge thank you to you all. Thank you so much for your super chats. Thank you for your interaction and your comments. Thank you so much for everything. We're going to have a few shows for you coming up this week. Tomorrow night, we've got a show with all of the lads. And then Tuesday, we've got another show with the Race for Europe show. And then, of course, we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday football. And then more content throughout the week about the European games, and then obviously moving towards the weekend's games. This is football every 3 days of the week. We absolutely love it. How can you not? How can you complain? Listen, if you do want to follow me, at Dan Arsenal 87, get yourself over to socials. I'm on Instagram now as well, at Dan Arsenal 87. If you do want to follow the podcast, please smash a like, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. It means the absolute world. I'm trying to get up, if I can, to 6K. On my way now. I think I'm on 5.6. I think I'm nearly on 5.7. If you can get me up to 6 within the next few days, it'd be amazing, people. So big up yourselves. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next time, guys.